He's got all of it. And I will be doing the part of King David. And this is my servant Abijah. And the story, the title role, Abigail, and her maid. I can give you now to our narrator, Richard.
Now Samuel died, and all Israel assembled and mourned for him. And they buried him at the home in Ramah. Then David moved down into the desert of Paran. He was already anointed a few years back, so this time Saul was still the king, and David working for Saul, and Saul was against David. A certain man in Maon, who had property there at Carmel, was a very wealthy. He had 1,000 goats and 3,000 sheep, which he was shearing in Carmel. His name was Nabal, and his wife's name was Abigail. She was an intelligent, beautiful woman, but her husband was surly and mean in his dealings. He was a Calebite from the family of Caleb, who was once working with Joshua when the first entered the Holy Land. But a name Calebite brings a negative connotation, but that's the story for another day.
My lord, you know that Nabal and his men are shearing sheep now. This is their harvest.
While David was in the wilderness, he heard that Nabal was shearing sheep. So he sent 10 young men and said to them, this was the harvest time for a sheep rancher, because it was a shearing of ingathering, the season of ingathering. Sheep shearing was a time for lavish hospitality towards others. Sheep shearing was traditionally celebrated by feasting, with enough to spare. Here David told his emissaries,
Go up to Nabal at Carmel and greet him in my name. Say to him, long life to you, and good health to you and your household, and good health to all that is yours. Now, I hear that it is sheep shearing time. When your shepherd were with us, we did not mistreat them. And the whole time that they were at Mount Carmel, nothing of theirs that was lost. So ask your own servant, and they will tell you.
this is like a protection and appreciation donation to the company of David, who safeguards Nabal's flock and shepherds. David made this request because he performed a valuable service to Nabal, protecting his flocks when Philistine raids were common. To our modern ears, it might sound like David ran some kind of protection racket, but that wasn't the case at all. He performed a worthy, valuable service for Nabal and expected to be compensated. Nabal was shearing his sheep. This means David waited until the right time to ask for compensation for his services. David protected Nabal's shepherds and flocks for a long time, but did not expect to be compensated until Nabal himself made his money at the harvest of sheep shearing. David sent 10 young men. This shows that David made the request politely. He did it through messengers, so Nabal would not be intimidated. He sent the messengers with a greeting full of warmth and kindness. Peace be to you. So Nabal would not give out fear of intimidation. Your shepherds were with us, nor was there anything missing. Ask your men, and they will tell you. This shows that David made the request properly, carefully, and patiently, giving Nabal an itemized receipt for services rendered. David continues,
Therefore be favorable towards my men, since we come at a festive time. Please give your servant and your son David whatever you can find for them.
when David's men arrived, they gave Nabal this message in David's name. Then they waited. Nabal answered David's servants.
My lord, This is what my Lord and Master, David, son of Jesse, said.
Who is this David? Who is this son of Jesse? Many servants are breaking away from their masters these days. You know, why should I take my bread and water and meat I have slaughtered for my shearers and give it to men coming from who knows where?
David's men turned around and went back. When they arrived, they reported every word. David said to his men,
That's what Nabal said, my Lord.
Oh, really? Each of you, strap your sword.
so they did. And David struck his and also swelled. About 400 men went up with David, while 200 stayed with the supplies. One of the servants told Abigail, the wife of Nabal's,
David sent messengers from the wilderness to give our master his greetings, but he hurled insults at them. Yet these men were very good to us. They did not mistreat us, and the whole time we were out in the fields near them, nothing was missing. Night and day they were a wall around us the whole time we were herding our sheep near them. Now think it over and see what you can do, because disaster is hanging over our master and his whole household. He is such a wicked man that no one can talk to him.
Abigail acted quickly. She took 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 dressed sheep, 5 seahs of roasted grain, 100 cakes of raisins, and 200 cakes of pressed figs, and loaded them on donkeys. Then she told her servants,
Go ahead, I'll follow you.
but she did not tell her husband Nabal. As she came riding her donkey into the mountain ravine, there were David and his men descending toward her, and she met them. David had just said,
It's been useless, all my watching over the fellow's property in the wilderness so that he would not lose anything. He has paid me back evil for good. May God deal with David, be it ever be so severely, if by morning I leave one alive male who belongs to Nabal.
Nabal's wife was both beautiful and wise, in contrast to Nabal's himself. The Bible gives Abigail great praise when it says she was of beautiful appearance, because the only women have this Hebrew phrase applied to them are Rachel, Genesis 29 verse 17, and Esther 2 verse 7. When Abigail saw David, she quickly got off her donkey and bowed down before David with her face to the ground. She fell at his feet and said,
Pardon your servant, my lord, and let me speak to you. Hear what your servant has to say. Please pay no attention, my lord, to that wicked man Nabal. He's just like his name. His name means fool, and folly goes with him.
This is another indication of his low character because the name Nabal means fool. In ancient Israel, names were often connected with person's character. We don't know if Nabal was his given name or he earned it, but he certainly lived up to it.
And as for me, your servant, I did not see the man my Lord sent. And now, my Lord, as surely as the Lord of God lives and as you live, since the Lord has kept you from bloodshed and from avenging yourself with your own hands, may your enemies and all who are intent on harming my Lord be like Nabal. And let this gift which your servant has brought to you, my Lord, be given to the man who followed you. Please forgive your servant's presumption. The Lord your God will certainly make a lasting dynasty for my Lord, because you fight the Lord's battles, and no wrongdoing will be found in you as long as you live. Even though someone is pursuing you to take your life, the life of my Lord will be bound securely in the bundle of the living by the Lord your God. But the lives of your enemies he will hurl away as far from the pocket of a sleep. When the Lord has fulfilled for my Lord every good thing he promised concerning him, and has appointed him ruler over Israel, my Lord will not have on his conscience the staggering burden of needless bloodshed or of having avenged himself. And when the Lord your God has brought my Lord success, remember me, your servant.
David said to Abigail,
Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, who has sent you today to meet me. May you be blessed for your good judgment and for keeping me from bloodshed this day and from avenging myself with my own hands. Otherwise, as surely as the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, who has kept me from harming you, if you had not come quickly to meet me, not one male belonging to Nabal would have been left alive by daybreak.
Then David accepted from her hand that she had brought him and said,
Go therefore home in peace. I have heard your words, and I granted your request.
When Abigail went to Nabal, he was in the house holding a banquet like that of a king. He was in high spirits and very drunk, so she told him nothing at all until daybreak. Then in the morning, when Nabal was sober, his wife told him all these things, and his heart failed him, and he became like a stone. About 10 days later, the Lord struck Nabal, and he died. When David heard that Nabal was dead, he said,
Praise be the Lord, who has upheld my cause against Nabal, for treating me with contempt. He has kept his servant from doing wrong, and has brought Nabal's wrongdoing down to his own head.
Then David sent word to Abigail, asking her to become his wife. 40 his servants went to Carmel and said to Abigail,
David has sent us to you to take you to become his wife.
She bowed down with her face to the ground and said,
I am your servant, and I'm ready to serve you and wash the feet of my Lord's master.
Abigail quickly got on a donkey and, attended by her 5 female servants, went with David's messengers and became his wife. David had also married Ahinoam of Jezreel, and they both were his wives. But Saul had given his daughter Michal, David's first wife, to Paltiel, son of Laish, who was from Galilee.
Yay!